Pleasant good evening and welcome to Franklin College's Spurlock Center for the final game of the 2022-23 regular season, with the visiting Engineers of Rose-Hulman taking on your Franklin College Grizzlies. I am Ryan Thomas. I'll have the play-by-play for you tonight here from the Spurlock Center on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. The best time of the year in basketball is almost here, with the conference tournament set to tip off this Sunday. First round matchups already locked in the HCAC, with Franklin set to head to Hanover and Transylvania and Rose-Hulman playing at one of those two schools on Sunday. The host site will be determined by tonight's outcome. If the Engineers win, they will lock up the number 4 seed and host the Transylvania Pioneers, who need some help to earn home court in the first round. The 1 and 2 seeds are set, with Anderson and Manchester getting first round byes. Those two teams in action tonight at Anderson, with the HCAC regular season title up for grabs. Not only is it the final game of the regular season, it is the final game here in the Spurlock Center for a couple of Franklin's men's basketball players, as well as a couple of members of the cheerleading squad. Carter Crow and David Aarons making their final appearances in the Spurlock Center tonight, along with cheerleaders Lexi Giddens and Libby Baker. We are going to take a quick step aside. When we come back, we will have your starting lineups and a couple of keys to tonight's game. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Welcome back to the Spurlock Center. We are going to turn things over to public address announcer Matt Smith for the senior night ceremonies here in the Spurlock Center.
Our first senior is Carter Crow. The son of Christina and Doyle Crow, Carter is an accounting major at Franklin and a veteran of 69 career games, coming into tonight with 40 starts to his name. Earlier this year, Carter collected the first HCAC Player of the Week honor of his career after dropping a career-high 30 points in a win at Defiance. After graduation, Carter plans to enter the accounting world, working in a local firm doing audit work for local not-for-profit organizations. From Greenwood, number 15, Carter Crow. Our final men's basketball senior is David Aarons. The son of Rick and Mary Beth Aarons, David is a first senior is Libby Baker. The daughter of Jill Baker, Libby is a psychology major with a minor in quantitative methods and is also a member of the women's basketball team. Libby is headed to grad school and is excited for where her future will take her after graduation. From Greenwood, Libby Baker. Our final senior is Lexi Giddens. The daughter of Patrick and Jennifer Giddens, Lexi is a biology and pre-vet studies major with a minor in chemistry. After graduation, she plans to attend vet school to pursue her doctorate of veterinary medicine. From Whiteland, Lexi Giddens. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for your Franklin men's basketball seniors and your Franklin senior cheerleaders.
A big thank you to public address announcer Matt Smith for handling the senior night's festivities. 6:48 to go on the clock before we tip here in the Spurlock Center. We're going to take a quick step aside. We will have your starting lineups when we get back. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Welcome back inside the Spurlock Center. We're about 3 minutes away from the tip-off of tonight's game. Here are the starting lineups for both teams. First, the visitors from Rose-Hulman. At one guard, number 3, Bradley Harden. The other guard, number 5, Max Chaplin. And at the third guard for the Engineers, number 23, Willie Bowman. The front court for Rose-Hulman, a senior, number 10, Terry Hicks, and a sophomore, number 42, Miles McGowan. Nick Sales is the head coach of the Engineers in his first season at the helm of the program. Spencer Koch, Robert Peels are his assistants. Now tonight's starting 5 for your Franklin College Grizzlies. The backcourt consists of sophomore number 11, Cody Samples, senior number 15, Carter Crow, and a 3-forward starting lineup for the Grizzlies of number 13, Lynn King, number 31, David Aarons, and number 35, Jacob Deere. In his first season at the helm of the Grizzlies, Chris Hamilton looking to secure a winning season in his first as a head coach with a win tonight. Blake Bonin and Kenneth Weaver are your assistants for the Grizz. Mason Tharp is your student assistant on the Franklin bench. The last 2 times these teams met were just a few days after the start of the new year in Terre Haute, and it was all Engineers from the opening tip. Rose-Hulman winning that game 85-66 and doing it down low. The Engineers dominating the game on the glass 39-15. Yes, just 15 rebounds for the Grizzlies, where Rose-Hulman had 13 on the offensive glass alone. Max Chaplin, the leading scorer in that game with 19 points. 16 points and 10 boards for Terry Hicks. Miles McGowan, 15 points and 12 rebounds in the game. So we'll see if the Engineers want to use their height advantage early in this game, as they have counted 6 guys standing at least 6'6" in the program. The 2 teams head to their benches for the final seconds here of the pregame. After that, we will have the playing of the national anthem and the starting lineups presented by public address announcer Matt Smith. We are going to bring those to you right now.
Welcome to Spurlock Center on the campus of Franklin College for tonight's HCAC men's basketball contest between the Rose-Hulman Engineers and your Franklin College Grizzlies. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise if you're able. Remove your hats and face the flag as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. And now let's meet the starters for tonight's game. First for the Engineers. At one guard, a 5'11" junior, number 3, Bradley Harden. At another guard, a 6'2" senior, number 5, Max Chaplin. And also at guard, a 6'3" senior, number 23, Willie Bowman. At one forward, a 6'5" senior, number 10, Terry Hicks. sophomore, number 42, Miles McGowan. Head coach of the Engineers is Nick Sales. Assistant coaches Spencer Cook and Robert Peels. And now, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet because it's time to meet tonight's starting lineup for your Franklin College Grizzlies. At one guard, a 6'1" sophomore wearing number 11, Cody Samples. At another guard, a 6'4" sophomore wearing number 13, Len Key. At one forward, a 6'5" senior wearing number 15, Carter Crow. At another forward, a 6'7" senior wearing number 31, David Ayres. And at the other forward, a 6'7" sophomore wearing number 35, Jacob Deere. Head coach of the Grizzlies is Chris Hamilton. Assistant coaches Blake Bowden and Kenneth Weaver. Student assistant Mason Tharp. And managers Ariana Wagner and Raven McLaren. The HCAC and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for approval from the side of competition. Respect, it's the name of the game. Thank you.
An energetic environment here in the Spurlock Center as we get set for the opening tip. Lynn King set to stand in against Miles McGowan in the circle. Franklin student section in all black tonight. And away we go from the Spurlock Center. Rose-Hulman controls to open the game. Samples matched up on Harden at the top of the key. Now Chaplin back to Harden. Chaplin out on the wing, met by Crow and King. Nothing there on dribble penetration. Good start to the game for the Franklin defense. In the corner, a three for Willie Bowman. He knocks it down. And Rose is out to an early 3-0 lead. Crow gets the handoff from Ahrens. Now Samples. The fade. Ahrens puts up a three. That one's off the mark. Rebound by Deere. Deere with a hook shot in the lane. That one's short. McGowan pulls down the board for Rose-Hulman. Out in transition. Here come the Engineers. Chaplin inside to Hicks. Hicks, fadeaway jumper. That one's off the rim, no good. Ahrens yanks down the board. 1 minute gone here in the opening half of play. Rose-Hulman on the board early. Franklin looking for their first bucket of the night. Deere catches at the elbow. Inside to Crow. Crow with the height advantage on Chaplin. He goes up, off the window, it's good. Carter Crow gets the scoring started for Franklin on his senior night. Rose-Hulman leads 3-2 with 90 seconds gone in the game. Chaplin gets a hold of the ball that was popped up in the air. A step-back jumper for the Rose-Hulman senior is good. Max Chaplin on the board for the Engineers. And the lead is back to 3. Samples on a nice give and go with Jacob Deere at the top of the key. Easy 2 points for Cody Samples. He's on the board. And we are moving right along as Harden controls at the top of the key. Skipped over to Bowman. Bowman, another three from the right wing is good. Nice feed on the skip pass from Bradley Harden. Bowman with 6 in the early going. And Rose leads 8-4. That one, thought it was a 2. I was wrong. It was a 3. Now here's King looking to drive on Hicks. Deer matched up on McGowan. Hook shot in the lane. That one falls for Jacob Deer. Jacob Deer really coming into his own. Entered into the starting lineup a few games ago, coming off of a 12-point night. The other night on the road, a nice feed down low. Bradley Harden with a lay-in on the feed, or excuse me, Harden with the pass to Miles McGowan, and an easy layup. Bradley Harden already with 3 assists in the first 3 minutes of play. Samples drives in the lane, his shot off the front of the rim. McGowan yanks down the board. Harden drives, step back jumper in the lane. That one's no good. McGowan comes down with a board, and we've got a foul called. It's going to be a loose ball foul on Miles McGowan. First foul of the night goes to the Engineers, as he was battling with David Aarons for that rebound. And McGowan will head to the bench. Simon Blair, number 44, checking into the lineup for the first time tonight for Rose-Hulman. 10-6 your score, 16:35 to go, opening half. Franklin trails Rose-Hulman. Here's King, down to Jacob Deer. Deer matched up on Terry Hicks. Deer goes up with it, and he's fouled on the way up. So 2 free throws coming for Jacob Deer, as Hicks picks up his first foul.
His first, team second. Shooting 2 for the Grizzlies, number 35, Jacob Deer.
Deer 9 of 12 at the free throw line on the season. His first shot up and good. A couple of subs coming into the game for Rose-Hulman. Number 2, Kobe Stoudemeyer checks in for Bradley Harden. Logan Hudgens in for the Grizzlies, replacing David Aarons. Second free throw on the way. Deer is perfect from the line. Going 2 for 2. 10-8 your score as we approach 4 minutes gone in the opening half. Hicks catches inside. Skip back out to Blair. Blair 3 on the way, no good. Hudgens yanks down the rebound. King drives, tough shot in the lane. Lynn King muscles his way to the basket on Willie Bowman. He's got his first points of the night, and this game is tied at 10. Stoudemeyer, top of the key. Screen coming. Nice job by the Grizzlies to get through that on the defensive end. Now Stoudemeyer off a screen from Blair, no good. Second rebound and as many trips down the floor for Logan Hudgens. King has it top of the key. Out to Samples. Inside the pass, gets away from Deer. Blair comes away with the loose ball. Now Stoudemeyer out to Chaplin. Chaplin had it poked away by King, able to hang on to possession. Now Blair drives on Hudgens. Goes up with the reverse layup, no good. Deer yanks down the board. Franklin student section letting the Engineers hear it on every miss. Here's King. Out to Samples, top of the key. Deer comes out to the screen. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Deer, three-pointer from the top of the key, no good. And a loose ball. They're going to say that ball went off of Logan Hudgens, out of bounds. Possession to the Engineers. 14:29 to go, opening half. Franklin and Rose-Hulman tied at 10. We're going to take a step aside for the media timeout. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Back inside the Spurlock Center, 14:29 to go, opening half. 10-10 your score. Franklin 4 of 8 from the field in the early going. Rose-Hulman 4 for 9 from the floor. Just one turnover between the two teams so far, as this game sits deadlocked. No changes for the Grizzlies out of the timeout. Samples, King, Crow, Hudgens, and Deere, your 5. For Rose-Hulman, Stoudemire, Chaplin, Bowman, Blair, and number 50, Isaac Farnsworth into the game for the first time, as Terry Hicks heads to the bench out of the timeout. Full court press out of the immediate timeout. Rose-Hulman able to get the ball across half court fairly easy. Stoudemire facing some pressure from King, out to Bowman. Back to Bowman, top of the key. Samples frustrated that shot. It was well short, and the ball goes to Franklin. Franklin student section really letting Bowman have it on that air ball. Let's see if the Grizz can capitalize. 14 minutes to go, opening half, as Samples has it at the top of the key. He pulls up on Stoudemire. That's a 3 for Cody Samples. Samples with 5 points, the first triple of the night for the Grizzlies. Franklin out in front for the first time. Into the corner, Chaplin. Here's Stoudemire. Now Bowman. Ball reversed. Skip pass. Back into the corner. Chaplin, a 3. That one's good. Max Chaplin, one of the top shooters in the HCAC, knocks down his first 3 of the night. Substitution for Franklin. Jalen Love enters the game for the first time for Lynn King. 13:24 to go in the opening half. We are knotted at 13 in what's been a very fun contest so far between these two longtime rivals. Deere controls top of the key, matched up on Blair. Inside to Crow. Crow with a height advantage on Chaplin. He goes up with it, and he's going to be called for a travel. Max Chaplin able to hold his ground down low and force the turnover. Zachary Jackson into the game for Rose-Hulman. Willie Bowman heads to the bench. Franklin continues to come out in this full court press. Samples up at the top of it, pressuring Jackson up the floor. Rose able to get it across the half court line. Farnsworth over to Stoudemire. Now Jackson. Jackson top of the key, drives, kicks. Chaplin wide open in the corner. That's another easy 3 for Max Chaplin. He's got 8 points in the early going, and Rose is back in front. Down to 12:40 to go, opening half. Deere controls, swings it over to Hudgens. The motion offense at the top of the key in effect for the Grizzlies. Down low, Samples, backs down Stoudemire. Turnaround jumper from the baseline, no good. And Simon Blair pulls down the board. Chaplin with a head fake, drives, and Hudgens is there to pick him up. Back to the top of the key, it's Jackson. Now Stoudemire switches places, 15 to go on the shot clock. Stoudemire pulls up from deep. That one's off the mark, no good. Hudgens with the board. Samples in transition, had a streaking Jacob Deere, but his pass just a little bit out of his reach. And out of bounds, back to Rose-Hulman. That's going to take us to a timeout on the floor with 12 minutes to go in the opening half. Franklin trailing Rose-Hulman 16-13. We're going to take a quick step aside. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. back inside the Spurlock Center with 12 minutes to go in the opening half. 16-13 your score. Franklin trailing Rose-Hulman. The Engineers have started to heat up from behind the three-point line. 4 of 7 in the game now. Coming out of the timeout. It's Engineer ball. Chaplin has it at the top of the key, matched up against Samples. Here's the just chipped back in Bradley Harden. Now Chaplin has it swatted away and out of his hands. Nice job by Cody Samples to pick Chaplin's pocket. Samples has it at the top of the key. 4 out, 1 in for the Grizzlies as King comes to get the ball. Matched up against Vuk Jurek. King loses a handle on the ball. It's on the floor. And we're going to have a jump ball situation on our hands. Possession stays with the Grizzlies as Jalen Love gets down on the floor to mix it up with Zachary Jackson. Into the game for the Grizzlies at the timeout. Trey Flatt making his first appearance of the night. Vuk Jurek and Bradley Harden back into the game for Rose-Hulman. Flatt drives and there's going to be a foul called down low. Harden went for the ball on a driving Flatt, but got a little too much of the arm. First foul of the half on Harden, third on the Engineers, as we're down to 11:15 to go in the opening period. Samples catches the inbound. Hands off to Love. Now King top of the key. Into the corner. Hudgens on the feed from Samples. That shot is off the mark. Chaplin comes down with the board. Harden gets it inside, and they're going to call Love for a foul down low as he was thinking, I got to get that ball out of Isaac Farnsworth's hands by any means possible. Just a little too much of the hands caught by Love. He picks up his first and the first foul of the half on Franklin. Chaplin, nice job by Love to pick him up, and a foul coming as King got into the lane to frustrate the shot, but they're going to say that he got Chaplin on the arm, so 2 free throws are coming for the senior guard from Carmel, Indiana. Max Chaplin leads the Engineers 13.8 points per game, 81.6% from the line, and he makes no mistake on that first free throw. Carter Crow checks back in for the Grizzlies. Look at Hudgens heads to the bench.
Shooting one more for the Engineers, number 5, Max Chaplin.
Chaplin misses the second. King comes down with the board. Nice pass up the floor from King to a streaking Jalen Love, and he lays it off the glass for his first points of the night. .30 to go, opening half. Engineers with the ball, leading by 2. Jackson gets the pass through to Harden. Crowd wanted to travel. Farnsworth with the pull-up jumper. That one's off the mark, no good. King comes down with the loose ball rebound. Crow on the wing, inside to King. Crow, top of the key on the feed from King, knocks down the 3. First 3 of the night for Carter Crow. He's got 5, and the Grizzlies are back in front as we cross the 10-minute mark in the first half. Jurek tried to get it out to Farnsworth. It's poked away by Crow. Crow hands to Love. Now Samples, top of the key. Here's King. Crow with a head fake, draws the double team. Nothing there. Now out to Samples. 10 to shoot for the Grizzlies. Here's Love. Down low, it's King. King had his jersey pulled out from being tucked in by Farnsworth, so that's going to draw the call. The first foul of the game on Isaac Farnsworth.
Isaac Farnsworth, his first, team's
coming in for Rose. We'll go ahead and reset on the floor. It's Stoudemire, Harden, Hicks, Bowman, and Miles McGowan. A step back jumper for Jalen Love is good. 4 points for Jalen Love, and the Grizzlies have their largest lead of the half. Driving layup from Harden. The Euro step is not called, and he gets that layup to go. Under 9 minutes to go, opening half. Love gets the feed, pulls up for three, it's good! Jalen Love on a heater at the offensive end. He's got a team high 7. Feed down low, and we've got a foul coming on the entry pass. They're going to get Jacob Deere for the foul. That is his first, as he got tied up with Terry Hicks down low. Love heads to the bench for a well-deserved break. Lynn King back in for Franklin. Harden has it in the corner, flat, right in his hip pocket. Harden steps back for a deep three, and he knocks it down. Rose-Hulman is a team 36.1% from behind the three-point line on the season. They are up to 5 for 8 in this ball game. Samples in the corner, Crow, long three on the way. That one's off the back iron, and McGowan comes down with the board. Tough rebound as King tried to poke that away to one of his teammates. Under 8 minutes to go, opening half. Here's Harden on the right wing. He drives, now he's got the quickness matchup on Deere. Out to Stoudemire, Stoudemire three, that one's too strong. Samples with the board. Franklin out in transition. Samples drives, and we've got a foul on the floor. They're going to get Kobe Stoudemire for his first foul, 5th of the half on the Engineers, and that will bring us to a timeout on the floor. 7:36 to go, opening half. Franklin leads Rose-Hulman 23-22. You are watching Franklin College Basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group.
Timeout.
.36 to go in the opening half in the Spurlock Center. 23-22 your score. Franklin with the lead. Jalen Love has a team high 7 for the Grizzlies. He is currently getting a breather. Out on the floor for Franklin, it's Flat, Samples, King, Crow, and Deere. Stoudemire, Harden, Hicks, Bowman, and McGowan out there for the Engineers. King on the right wing to Samples at the top of the key. Now to Flat. Down to 10 to shoot for Franklin. Samples down to 5. He puts up a heave at the buzzer, no good. Long rebound goes to Carter Crow, and Franklin will get a fresh 20 seconds on the shot clock. King over to Crow. King cuts inside. Now to Deer. Deer steps back from 18, no good. Stoudemire with the rebound. Harden out to Bowman. Bowman steps into one from deep and knocks down his third triple of the ball game. I think he got tired of hearing the airball chants from the Franklin student section. He's got 9, and the Engineers back in front. Deer catches a feed down low from Crow and goes up for 2. Jacob Deer with 6 in the ball game. We are tied once again. 6:20 to go, opening half. Stoudemire, McGowan into the corner. It's Harden for 3. That one's off the mark. Samples comes down with the board. Samples has it, top of the key. Now to King. Flat on the left wing. Back to King, top of the key. He dishes it down low. Deer goes off the window and gets it to fall. Nice feed from Lynn King. Post-to-post action. Franklin back in front. Hicks pull-up jumper, and we've got a foul on the floor. They're going to get Jacob Deer for the foul. That's a big one, his second. And that will force him to the bench along with Cody Samples as Logan Hudgens and Jalen Love check back in. Max Chaplin back in for Rose-Hulman. Bradley Harden heads to the bench. 5:42 to go, opening half. What's been a spirited contest between these two teams. Chaplin cranks up another 3 and gets it to fall. Max Chaplin and Willie Bowman doing the bulk of the damage for Rose-Hulman from long range. The two of them have combined for 6 3-pointers in the ball game. So we got a kick ball on an entry pass from Hudgens. Franklin keeps it. 5:22 to go, opening half. 20 seconds on the shot clock for the Grizz. We wondered about the rebounding battle between these two teams before this game started. Franklin holding their own as King goes up with a reverse. Slick entry feed from Trey Flatt to King. King's got 4 and Franklin's back in front. Touched on the rebounding battle. So far, Franklin more than holding their own. 12-8, leading the rebounding battle. Chaplin with a behind-the-back feed. Hicks pulls up from long range, and that falls. Rose-Hulman really enjoying shooting in this gym. 8 of 13 from long range in the opening 15 minutes of play. Love to Crow. Crow drives on Chaplin. One-handed runner, that one falls. Carter Crow with 7, and we are tied once again. No slowing down as the Engineers get the ball inside to McGowan. He tries to go to the other block, and we got a foul coming. Hicks used the head fake to get Lynn King up in the air, and that's a big foul. Second of the ball game on Lynn King, and the 5th of the half on the Grizzlies. David Aarons checking back in. Two members of Franklin's starting front court on the bench with 2 fouls in King and Jacob Deer. Here's McGowan off to Chaplin, and that's going to be a walk. Chaplin moved his feet before he put the ball on the floor. Just the 3rd turnover of the half on Rose-Hulman. And Franklin looks to cash in on this final possession, potentially before the 4-minute media timeout. Crow to Hudgens. Entry pass to Aarons. Aarons out to Crow. Crow gets it inside to Aarons. Now out to Love. Love to Flatt. Flatt with 10. Corner, Hudgens a 3. That one's no good. And we have a foul on the perimeter on the shot. Miles McGowan's going to get dinged for his 2nd foul on the shot. That is his 2nd and the team's 6th. And Logan Hudgens will have 3 free throws when we get back from a timeout on the floor. 3:50 to go, opening half. Franklin and Rose-Hulman tied at 31. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Back inside the Spurlock Center with 3:50 to go, opening half, and the score tied at 31. Grizzlies and Engineers tied, but the story of the opening half so far has been Rose-Hulman's precision from behind the three-point line. 8 of 13, 8 of their 11 field goals from deep. Rose with 11 three-pointers in the first matchup between these two teams. Logan Hudgens at the free throw line. Coming into this game, 54.5% from the free throw line, and he missed the first two. Looking to salvage 1 out of 3, and that one falls, putting the Grizzlies back in front. Franklin with the full court press out of the made free throw. Rose able to get it across half court quickly. Bowman drives to the bucket, and he's fouled by Hudgens on the way up. Bowman hit the floor hard, but he popped right back up. Looks like he's all right. Foul on Hudgens, his first and the team's 6th. So both teams shooting free throws the rest of the first half. Bowman 30 for 32 at the line, so a rare miss for him on the opening shot. Cody Samples checks back into the game for the Grizzlies. Trey Flatt heads to the bench. Franklin's student section still letting Bowman have it as he knocks down the second free throw to tie this game up. Samples drives on Stoudemire and has to kick the ball out. Now Hudgens. He drives on Hicks. Turnaround jumper in the lane. That falls for Logan Hudgens. Smooth touch for the junior from Kentucky. He's got his first field goal of the night. And Franklin's back in front as we're down to 3:10 to go opening half. Stoudemire running one-hander in the lane, no good. Aarons yanks down the board. Here comes Samples. Looking to push, settles the offense down, out to Love. Inside, it's Hudgens. Into the corner for Crow. Pull-up jumper from the baseline. In and out, no good. Bowman with the board. Chaplin able to use a head fake, and he gets into the lane for a layup. Next, Chaplin with 14 to lead all scorers. And down at the other end, Samples loses a handle on the dribble penetration. Here's Stoudemire to Hicks. Hicks pull up from 3. That one's off the mark. Aarons comes down with the board. Here come the Grizzlies in transition. Crow in the lane. Step back jumper, no good. Pulled down by Hicks as Aarons and Farnsworth go crashing to the floor. Down at the other end, Chaplin comes up with a layup in transition, and that will force a timeout from the Franklin bench. 2:04 to go, opening half. Rose-Hulman leading 36-34. We're going to stay right here for the 32nd timeout. Trey Flatt checking back in for Franklin. We want to give a huge shout out to the Franklin student section, really letting their voices be heard tonight. And the man leading the charge, well, he's a voice you've heard a few times on Grizz TV this year. That's our own Egan Kiefer-Hill, front and center, leading the student section in unison. Taking a look around the conference and the marquee matchup going on in Anderson, the Ravens leading Manchester 38-30 with 3:37 to go in the opening half. Franklin with the ball out of the timeout. Flat out to Crow. Now inside it's Deere. Deere back in the game with those 2 fouls. Flat back inside. It's Deere. Matched up on Blair. He pulls back with a step back, no good. Farnsworth pulls down the board, and that sends David Aarons flying. Long skip pass from Bowman is picked out of the air by Jalen Love. And down at the other end, we're going to have a foul called. That's going to be on Willie Bowman. First foul on Bowman, team 7th, as Jalen Love looked like he was shot out of a cannon after picking up that steal. Love headed to the free throw line, 7 of 11 from the charity stripe this year. First one is on the way, and nothing but nylon for the Grizz Junior. Couple of subs in for Franklin, Lynn King and Nathaniel Hoffman checking in. Hoffman making his first appearance of the night as Deere and Aarons head to the bench. So a change to the Franklin front court as we're down to 1:34 to go opening half. Second one from Love is in and out. Simon Blair grabs the rebound. Here's Harden, getting it across half court. Out to Blair. Bowman. Out to Chaplin. Chaplin matched up. Nice job by Hoffman to keep him in front. On the right wing, it's Harden. Now Bowman. Down low, Farnsworth. Back out to Harden. Nice give and go between the two. Nice job by Hoffman to contest that Farnsworth shot. It goes out of bounds on the rebound. Possession stays with the Engineers. 1:02 to go opening half. 36-35, Rose-Hulman with the lead. Farnsworth catches the inbound. Hands off to Chaplin. Chaplin out to Harden. Harden drives, looks down low for Blair. It's picked off by King. King in transition, goes up with it, and we've got a foul coming on the layup attempt. Second straight foul on Willie Bowman. So he is likely to head to the bench as Lynn King set to head to the free throw line. King, second on the team with 10.7 points per game. 55.4% from the free throw line on the year, as he's attempted more free throws than any member of the Grizzlies. First one is off the back iron, no good. Zachary Jackson will check in for for Rose-Hulman, as Bowman heads to the bench with those 2 fouls. King looking to get the Grizzlies even with 44 seconds to go in the first half. His second shot is up and good. We are tied once again. Lots of back and forth between these teams. 10 lead changes, 6 ties in the opening 19 minutes plus. Here's Jackson, out of Chaplin. Love and Flat switch off to on Chaplin. Nice job by Love to keep him in front. Here's Harden. He launches a pass into the waiting arms of no one but somebody in the front row, and they may have gotten a little more than they bargained for as Isaac Farnsworth goes crashing into the front row as well. Turnover on the Engineers. 19.7 seconds to go first half. Jacob Deere back into the game. Nathaniel Hoffman heads to the bench. Franklin will, you would assume, play for the last shot here, but you just never know if they get the look they want. Here's Deere. Turnaround, step back. That one's short. Blair with the rebound. 3 seconds left. Harden up to Chaplin. Chaplin steps into one. That one's too strong. No good. And that is going to bring us to halftime in the Spurlock Center. Nothing decided after one half between Franklin and Rose-Hulman. The two squads tied at 36. We are going to take a step aside. We are going to have your first half stats here in just a few minutes. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. back inside the Spurlock Center. We've got about 5 minutes to go before the start of the second half, and wanted to bring you the halftime stats, but first, before we do that, programming note of importance when it pertains to the Franklin women's basketball team. Manchester leading Anderson in North Manchester 36-29 with 8:45 to go in the third quarter. That is a play-in game for Manchester. If they win, they will be the 6th seed in the HGAC women's basketball tournament. If Anderson wins, it will be Franklin as the number 3 seed playing this coming Tuesday. Grizzly women off tonight as their scheduled opponent, Rose-Hulman, postponed the 2022-23 women's basketball season back in November. Franklin getting a little bit of a breather before a potential conference tournament matchup. First half stats. We're going to start with the Engineers. Max Chaplin, 16 first half points. He was 6 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 4 from behind the three-point line. Also in double figures for Rose-Hulman, Willie Bowman, 10 points, 3 of 4 shooting, all of those coming from behind the three-point line. 5 points for Bradley Harden, 3 points for Terry Hicks, 2 points for Miles McGowan. No points for the Rose-Hulman bench in the opening half, so a nice job by the Grizzlies of keeping the Engineer reserves in check. For Franklin, tied for the team lead with 8 points, Jacob Deere and Jalen Love. Deere 3 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the line. Love 3 of 3 from the field, 1 for 1 from long distance. 7 points for Carter Crow, 5 points for Cody Samples and Lynn King, and 3 points for Logan Hudgens. Rebounds, 14 for each team in the opening half. 3 rebounds each for David Aarons and Logan Hudgens, tying for the team lead. 3 first half assists for Lynn King, as he did a little bit of everything for the Grizzlies. Only 4 first half turnovers for Franklin to 6 for Rose-Hulman. The game, we wondered about the size mismatch in this game favoring Rose-Hulman. Franklin has more than held their own, leading 20-8 on points in the paint in the opening 20 minutes. So we'll see if the Engineers choose to go inside a little bit more in the second half and use that height advantage, or if they want to choose to rely on what was an extremely efficient performance shooting the ball from long range in the opening half. Rose 8 for 15 from deep in the opening 20 minutes. Those are your halftime stats. We're going to take a break here in the broadcast booth. We will be back in just a little bit with the start of the second half. You're watching Franklin College Basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hugler Automotive Group. Welcome back to Franklin Spurlock Center for the start of our second half between Franklin and Rose-Hulman. The Grizzlies solidly in as the number 6 seed in the HCAC tournament. Rose-Hulman, with a win, secures the 4 seed and an opening round, or in a quarterfinal home game this coming Sunday against Transylvania. So still a lot to play for the Engineers. For the Grizzlies, they're looking to close the regular season with a strong performance to take into Sunday's matchup, the rubber match of the year, with the Hanover Panthers. Starting lineup back on the floor for Franklin to start the second half. Samples, King, Crow, Ahrens, and Deere. For the Engineers, it's Hardin, Chaplin, Hicks, Bowman, and McGowan. Rose gets the ball, and we are underway in the final 20 minutes. Hardin getting a screen at the top of the key. Now Chaplin off that screen, no good. Long rebound goes to Samples. He pushes in transition. Ahrens off the window on the feed from Samples. And the Grizzlies have the first bucket of the second half. First points of the game for David Ahrens. Chaplin top of the key. Out to Hardin. Back to Chaplin. Now Hardin, he drives, kicks it out to Terry Hicks. Down to 7 to shoot for the Engineers. Hardin, Chaplin, he can shoot from anywhere. He goes strong to the bucket. That's swatted away by Jacob Deere. In transition, here comes the Grizzlies. Samples slows things down and sets up the offense. Ahrens to Crow. Ahrens going to the basket, matched up on Bowman. Turnaround jumper in the lane. That one's no good, but a foul coming, and it's a big one. It's going to be on Willie Bowman. That is number 3 on the Rose-Hulman sharpshooter.
That was on the Engineers, number 23. Willie Bowman is third. Team's first. Shooting 2 for the Grizzlies.
So 2 free throws coming for David Ahrens. First one on the way is good. Kobe Stoudemeyer comes off the bench. He replaces Bowman. Ahrens 0 for 2 at the charity stripe coming into this game. Made 11 appearances on the year, averaging 5.5 minutes per night. And the senior knocks down both free throws on his senior night. Franklin with a 4-point lead. Chaplin loses his defenders with a ball fake, and he knocks down the jumper. Max Chaplin continuing his torrid shooting pace, 7 of 8 in the ball game. He's up to 18 for the night. Samples out to King. Back to Samples, top of the key. Here's Crow. Crow, dribble penetration on Chaplin. Turnaround hook shot in the lane. Carter Crow. He's got the hook shot going, and he's got 9 points in the ball game. Down to 18 minutes to go, second half. Hardin off a screen from Hicks. Into the corner, Stoudemeyer. Now Chaplin, he winds up from deep, no good. A contested rebound, King and Samples lost it in the battle for it. Stoudemeyer comes down with the long board. Out to the top of the key. Hicks with a long 3 on the way. That one's short. And the rebound goes to David Ahrens. Franklin only conceded 2 offensive rebounds in the opening half. The Grizzlies are going to have to keep that number down. You don't want to give Rose too much space to build on it. Some momentum, and a 3 for Cody Samples down at the other end. Franklin with their largest lead of the night, 45-38, 17-16 to go, and they force a Rose-Hulman timeout.
30-second timeout.
A 30-second timeout means we're going to keep it right here.
This timeout goes to a media timeout.
It becomes a media timeout, so we're not going to keep it here, at least not for a little bit. 17-16 to go, second half. Franklin leading Rose-Hulman by 7. You're watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Back inside the Spurlock Center, Engineers with the ball out of the timeout. Franklin coming out in some full court pressure. Looking to force a mistake. Rose able to break through it. There's Chaplin. Into the corner, Stoudemire. Back to Chaplin. Nice ball movement by the Engineers. Nice job by the Grizzlies keeping up with it. Chaplin's three, no good. King swoops in to collect the rebound. Aarons has it top of the key for Franklin. Over to Samples. Back to Aarons. Now to King. Down to 15 to shoot for the Grizzlies. King. Front faces Terry Hicks. Now it to Samples. The double coming. Pass knocked away. Inside, it's King. Step back jumper from the wing. That's well short. Long rebound goes out of bounds. It will be Rose-Hulman basketball. And we hear it a little bit from the Rose-Hulman fans of the chant of air ball, so some dueling chants going on between the Franklin student section and the Rose-Hulman fans that made the trip. Chaplin has it in the corner, another three. That one's off the mark, no good. Chaplin's missed his first three triples here in the second half. Inside from Crow to Deere. Deere up with it, blocked by McGowan. He gets the rebound, put back attempt, no good. And Terry Hicks comes down with the board. Chaplin drives, tough shot on Deere, that's no good, and it's going to draw a foul. That is foul number 3 on Jacob Deere. And that will bring us to the 16-minute media timeout on the floor. 15:43 to go, second half. Franklin leading Rose-Hulman 45-38. We're going to take a step aside. You're listening to and watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Welcome back inside the Spurlock Center. 15:43 showing on the clock. Franklin leading Rose-Hulman 45-38. Coming out of the timeout, two substitutions for the Grizzlies. Logan Hudgens and Jalen Love checking in. David Aarons and Jacob Deere heading to the bench. One substitution for Rose-Hulman. Number 44, Simon Blair, making his first appearance of the second half. Max Chaplin at the free throw line, knocking down the first of 2. He's got 19 in the ball game, leading all scorers by a wide margin. Second free throw on the way from Chaplin is good. He's got 20, and Rose has their first points in a little while. Full court press brought on by the Engineers. Love with a pass up to Hudgens. Franklin breaks the press, and Logan Hudgens finishes it off. Samples out on Stoudemire in the top of the key. Now Chaplin has it. Back to Stoudemire. Chaplin, long three on the way. That's no good. King yanks down the board. Chaplin 0 for 5 from three-point range in the second half. Samples over to Crow. Crow finds King cutting to the basket. Samples in the corner for three. That one's off the mark. Blair pulls down the board, and the Engineers are out in transition. Blair down low to Hicks. Nice feed on the high-low between the two Rose-Hulman big men. Terry Hicks has 5 in the ball game. And the lead is back down to 5 as we hit the 14:30 mark in the second half. King out to Hudgens. King drives, tough matchup on Blair. He's getting up at least 3 inches to the Rose-Hulman big man, but King able to draw a shooting foul. First foul of the game on Blair, second of the half on the Engineers. And Lynn King heads back to the free throw line.
Number 13, Lynn King.
First one on the way is off the back iron for King. 2 substitutions. Isaac Farnsworth back in for Rose-Hulman. Terry Hicks heading to the bench. Trey Flatt checks back in for Franklin. Cody Samples will get a breather. Second free throw from King is too strong. Blair comes down with the board. No damage done on those 2 free throws. Farnsworth out to Harden. Flat matched up on Harden, sticking with him out on the perimeter. They switch. It's King. Love pokes away the pass to Stoudemire. Love all the way to the cup, and he gets it to fall. That burst of speed from Jalen Love when he gets a loose ball in transition has been lethal tonight. Love up to 10 in the ball game to lead all Franklin scorers. Chaplin got King up in the air, elects to pass off. Farnsworth, his shot too strong. Rebound on the floor. It's Farnsworth coming up with it. Now Chaplin, long 3 on the way, too strong. Hudgens yanks down the board. Franklin battling on the glass down low against a bigger ball club in the Engineers. Hudgens controls, out to Love. Pass down low to King. King fights off a double, and they're gonna call King for an offensive foul. King arguing with the official that Farnsworth was in the cylinder. That is foul number 3 on Lynn King. Second foul of the half on Franklin. Nathaniel Hoffman back into the ball game. King will head to the bench. We'll see for how long with those 3 fouls as Rose-Hulman's lone player with 3 and Willie Bowman just checked back in. Stoudemire fights off pressure from Love and Flatt as he gets the ball across half court. He controls out at the top of the key. Looking for the 2-man game with Blair. It isn't there. Reverses to Bowman. Bowman inside to Blair. Hoffman matched up on him. Does a nice job. Out to Stoudemire. He sinks the long 3. First points of the game for Stoudemire. First points of the game for the Rose-Hulman bench. Hudgens with a 3 on the other end. That is short. Blair comes up with the rebound as we're down to 12:20 to go in the ball game. Inside, Farnsworth matched up on Hudgens. Nice spin move down low. He draws Hudgens up in the air and draws the foul.
Fellas on the Grizzlies, number 22, Lincoln Hudgens, his second.
Second foul on Hudgens, third of the half on the Grizzlies.
Number 50, Isaac Farnsworth.
Isaac Farnsworth heads to the line where he's a 73.3% shooter on the season. First shot, no good. And that will give the Grizzlies a chance to bring in a couple of subs. Cody Samples, Jacob Deere back in. Hudgens and Love will head to the bench. Second free throw from Farnsworth is up and good. His first point of the evening. And this lead is down to 3. Here's Deer. Out to Hoffman, then Samples. Deer catches at the elbow. And we got a foul away from the ball. Had a hard time seeing it, but the body language and the official says it's on Max Chaplin. That is his first and the team's third. That is going to bring us to a timeout on the floor. 11:58 to go in the second half. Franklin leads Rose-Hulman 49-46. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Inside the Spurlock Center, 11:58 to go, second half. Franklin holding a 3-point lead with the ball underneath. Out on the floor for the Grizzlies. Flat, Samples, Crow, Deer, and Hoffman. Hoffman catches the inbounds pass from Crow and knocks down the jumper. First points of the ball game for Nathaniel Hoffman. To 5, Stoudemire has it top of the key. Farnsworth, and we got a foul away from the ball, away from the play. Body language on the floor suggests it's on Nathaniel Hoffman, and it is. That is his first and the team's fourth of the half. Inbounds pass into Blair. Now Chaplin, pull-up jumper on the way, no good. Crow comes down with the rebound. Max Chaplin struggling shooting the ball here in the second half. Deer matched up on Chaplin, lost a handle on it. They had the size advantage, but Chaplin poked that one away. Stoudemire, pull up with one hand, no good. A rebound, Blair contested with Jacob Deer before Hoffman came up with it. Here's Flat. In the lane, a hook shot on the way, no good. Blair with the rebound. Two teams not electing to slow down. They're looking to get as many points as they can in transition. Here's Blair. Out to Stoudemire. Off the screen, into the corner it goes to Bowman. Top of the key, Blair, 3 on the way. That one's off the mark, no good. Bowman with the offensive board, and we have a foul down low as Deer and Farnsworth got tied up down low. That's a big foul. That is number 4 on Jacob Deer.
His first, team's 4.
Two subs for the Grizzlies. Lynn King, David Aarons back in. Hoffman and Deer head to the bench. Inbounds pass in. Chaplin on the right side with the left hand, gets it to fall. Bounce pass from Flat out to Samples. Now King to Flat in the corner. 3 on the way. That one's no good. Rebound pulled down by McGowan. In transition, Stoudemire. Now Chaplin on the wing. Back to Stoudemire, top of the key. 3 ball on the way. Off the mark, no good. we've got an offensive rebound for the Engineer team, as Crow and King couldn't come down with it.
For the Grizzlies, number 21.
Jalen Love back in for Franklin, Terry Hicks back in for Rose-Hulman, Carter Crow and Isaac Farnsworth head to the bench for their respective sides. Chaplin controls top of the key. He drives, kicks it off to McGowan. McGowan on King, using that height advantage in his favor. He's got the bucket. 4 points in the game for Miles McGowan. And the lead is down to 1 as we're under 9:40 to go in the second half. Flat to Samples, top of the key. Looking inside is to Aarons, and a foul coming as Terry Hicks got a lot of David Aarons' arm. That is going to be a foul on Hicks. Second foul on Hicks, team's fourth. And Hicks had visions of a fast break bucket on his mind before that foul was called. Here's Samples. Into the corner, King, 7 to shoot. King to the bucket, goes up strong with it, not there. McGowan comes down with a rebound. Tough shot for Lynn King, who tried to muscle his way in there. Here's Bowman in the corner, 3 on the way is good. And the Engineers are back in front as we hit the 9-minute mark here in the second half. Timeout taken by the Franklin bench and Coach Chris Hamilton. Just the second 3 of the half for the Engineers on their 11th attempt. Forces a Franklin timeout. Full timeout on the floor, 8:57 to go in the ball game. We are going to take a quick step aside. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Inside the Spurlock Center, 8:57 to go, second half. Taking a look around the HCAC and the important games for both the men's basketball tournament and the women's basketball tournament. 8:03 to go in the second half in North Manchester. Manchester leading Anderson 62-55. If the Spartans win, they knock the Grizzlies out of the conference tournament next week. As a foul coming on the entry pass, King got tied up with McGowan down low. Third foul on McGowan, fifth foul on the Engineers. In the other game, to determine the HCAC regular season champion in Anderson, Manchester just went ahead of the Ravens 64-63, 7:23 to go in that game. Samples down low to King. King trying to fight his way through 2 defenders, and he draws a foul on the play. They're going to get McGowan for the foul. 4 fouls on McGowan, 6th on the team. That means Franklin is shooting free throws the rest of the way. Rose-Hulman fan base voicing their displeasure for that call, and it sure looked like from here McGowan was straight up on the play. But nevertheless, it's 2 free throws for King. First one is in and out, no good. Simon Blair back in for Rose. McGowan heads to the bench with those 4 fouls. Each team with 1 player at 4 fouls. McGowan for Rose and Jacob Deere for the Grizzlies. Second shot on the way is good. 53-52, Rose-Hulman with the lead. 8:30 to go in the second half. Harden on the drive. Nothing there, now he's trapped. Out to Bowman, top of the key. Inside, Hicks, nice spin move on Aarons. His shot no good. Tip in from Blair. The first one doesn't go, the second one does. Now the height's starting to come into Rose-Hulman's favor, as down at the other end it's Crow on the entry pass. He draws Bowman up in the air. Tough shot from Crow on the fadeaway. Carter Crow in double figures now with 11. Out up the top of the key for the Engineers, it's Harden. On the screen from Hicks. Nothing there to Stoudemire. Back to Harden. Inside to Hicks. Hicks matched up on King. Step back jumper on the way, too strong. King rips down the board. Crow on the drive. Hook shot off the window and good. The senior forward is feeling it right now. He's got 13 and the Grizzlies are back in front. Down to under 7 to go in the ball game, as Harden controls for Rose. Into Blair. Blair matched up on Aarons, inside to Hicks. Hicks with the height advantage, left it short. King yanks down the board. Lynn King up to 7 rebounds, leading all Franklin players. Love at the top of the key, clears Crow out. Down to 6:30 to go, 15 to shoot for Franklin. Here's King. He goes baseline, kicks it out. Crow, 3 on the way is good! 7 straight points for Carter Crow. And the Grizzlies are back in front, 59-55, as we approach 6 minutes to go in the second half. Harden pull-up jumper from the elbow, no good. Blair's tip-in attempt, no good. Aarons comes down with the board. Here's Love in transition. Out to Crow on the wing, another 3. That one's off the mark, and that might have blown the roof off the Spurlock Center. Stoudemire shakes Love and gets it to Harden in the corner. Now Rose will set up the offense. Bowman top of the key for Blair. Blair takes Aarons to the basket. Able to dip his shoulder into the Franklin big man and get the 2-pointer to fall. Samples hands to Crow. Out to Love, now to Aarons. Samples top of the keys. Franklin looking to get the motion offense rolling. Aarons with a nice ball fake. He goes to the cup and draws a foul. That's going to be on Simon Blair, his second, team 7th, and it will lead to 2 free throws for David Aarons. And it will bring us to the 8-minute media timeout with 5:07 to go in the second half, and Franklin leading Rose-Hulman 59-57. We are going to step aside for just a minute. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. inside the Spurlock Center. 5:07 to go, second half. And David Aarons at the free throw line for 2 for the Grizzlies. Out on the floor for Franklin, it's Flat, Samples, Crow, Aarons at the line, and Nathaniel Hoffman checking in at the timeout with Trey Flat. Out on the floor for Rose-Hulman, it's Stoudemire, Chaplin, Hicks, Bowman, and McGowan McGowan back in with those 4 fouls. First free throw good from David Aarons. Second one on the way is good as well. And he will head to the bench after going 2 for 2 from the charity stripe. Then King checks back in for Franklin. Aarons 6 points, 4 rebounds in 16 minutes of action tonight. Here's Hicks. Out on the wing, gets it inside. Now in the corner, Chaplin fakes out Flat, drills a 3. First triple of the second half for Max Chaplin. He's got a game-high 25. Let's see how the Grizzlies respond to that big 3 from Rose-Hulman's top scorer. Samples has it out on the perimeter, 15 to shoot for Franklin. Hoffman on the screen. Out to King, down to 5. King forces one up, it's off the back iron, no good, and goes off the top of the backboard for a Rose-Hulman team rebound.
Back into the Grizzlies, number 35.
Jacob Deere checks back in for Franklin. Hoffman heads to the bench. Engineers taking a look at some full court pressure from the Grizzlies. They're able to get it across with a couple seconds to spare on the 10-second count. Stoudemire over to Bowman. Back to Stoudemire. Down to 9 to shoot. Bowman on the dribble drive. Down to McGowan. He goes up with it. That one's off the high window and good. 6 points for Miles McGowan. And the Engineers are back in front. Samples into Deere. McGowan being careful not to pick up his 5th. Nice feed from Deere to Crow, and Crow lays it in. Carter Crow using his height advantage on the smaller guard that he's managed to catch down on the post a few times tonight. Here's Hicks. Back to Stoudemire. Now Hicks. Off the drive. Smooth layup from Terry Hicks. He's got 7 in the ball game. And for the 15th time in the game, this lead has changed. Rose back in front as we're down to 2:50 to go in the second half. Samples catches with 15. He drives, tough shot on Stoudemire, and it falls. Samples wanted a foul, but he'll gladly take the 2. Franklin back in front as we're down to 2:30 to go. Hicks with a jumper from the elbow, that goes. Nice feed from Bowman to Hicks at the elbow. And another lead change between these two teams. This has been quite the ball game between two teams that are extremely evenly matched. A much different outcome than the last time these two teams met up. Deere controls, hands off to Samples. Samples backs down Stoudemire. Out to King with 5 to shoot. King on Hicks. Off the window and good. Then King up to 8 points, and none of those 8 points have come easy. Those two especially. 1:40 to go in the ball game. Stoudemire, Bowman, long 3 on the way is good. Timeout taken by the Rose-Hulman bench with 1:32 to go in the the second half, and Rose-Hulman leading 69-67. We are going to step aside. Do not go anywhere. We're going to have the exciting conclusion of this one in just a little bit. You are watching Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Back inside the Spurlock Center, a quick check on the two other games of note going on around the conference. At Anderson, Manchester 73, Anderson 71 with 1:51 to go in that game. In North Manchester on the women's side, Manchester 76, Anderson 69. As Manchester looks to knock the Franklin women's team out of that 6th seed. A drive on the play from Lynn King. Out of that timeout, and a foul on the floor. It's going to be on Hicks. And that will bring us to a media timeout on the floor. 1:26 to go in the ball game. 2 free throws, a 1-and-1 for Lynn King when we come back from this quick break. .126 to go in the second half in what's been an extremely entertaining game between Franklin and Rose-Hulman here in the Spurlock Center. Rose with a 2-point lead and 2 huge free throws on the way for Lynn King. First one is up and good. I jumped the gun a little bit. That was a 1-and-1 for King, and he made no mistake on that first shot. The margins in this game razor thin. At the free throw line, Franklin 11 of 18 in the game. Make it 11 for 19 as King. Now 3 for 8 at the charity stripe in a 1-point ball game. Stoudemire to McGowan. McGowan matched up on Jacob Deere. Out to Chaplin. Chaplin. Down to 4 on the shot clock. McGowan drives. A floater with one hand is good. A big shot from the Rose-Hulman big man as we're under 1 minute to go in the game and a timeout taken by the Franklin bench. It's a 30-second timeout. So we are going to keep it here. We'll reset the two lineups coming out of the timeout here in just a minute. Now at Anderson, 76-73, Manchester with the lead. Up in North Manchester, it is Manchester 80, Anderson 69 with 55 seconds to go. 49 seconds to go here in what's been an absolute banger of a basketball game. 20 lead changes and 8 ties between the Grizzlies and the Engineers. Rose-Hulman needs this win to earn a first-round home game on Sunday against Transylvania, with the Pioneers winning down in Earlham tonight. Out on the floor for the Grizzlies, it's Flat, Samples, Crow, King, and Deer. For Rose-Hulman, it's Chaplin, Jackson, Hicks, Bowman, and McGowan. Crow loses his man, his one-hander no good. Flat hustles to get to the long rebound. In the corner, Deer for three, it's good! Jacob Deer with a long corner triple. He's got 11, and this game is tied for the 9th time with 19 seconds to go. An absolutely huge shot from the sophomore big man, and he heads to the bench in favor of Jalen Love. We got a timeout taken by Rose-Hulman. 30-second timeout. We're going to use this one to take a step aside. You've got Franklin College basketball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. .4 seconds to go in the game as the officials reset the clock. We'll reset the lineups. For Franklin, it's Flat, Samples, King, Crow, and Love. Out for Rose-Hulman, Stoudemire, Chaplin, Bowman, Hicks, and McGowan. Shot clock is off. Rose can play for the last shot if they want. Hicks matched up on Crow. Now Stoudemire down to 12. Flat guarding him on the perimeter. Down to 7. Here comes Chaplin to the top of the key. Down to 3. Stoudemire drives. His shot no good. The putback from McGowan is good. And the Engineers win. (73-71). Rose-Hulman comes away with the win in what was an absolutely phenomenal ball game from these two teams. Final stats for tonight's game. Franklin led by 18 points from Carter Crow, 8 for 13 shooting. Jacob Deer finishes with 11 points. Jalen Love with 10 points. Cody Samples with 10 points for the Grizzlies. 25 points from Max Chaplin leads the way for Rose-Hulman. Willie Bowman with 16. Miles McGowan with 10. Obviously none bigger than the last two in the last second. The regular season comes to an end. Franklin 13-12 will enter the tournament for the HCAC tournament for the second straight year as the number 6 seed and will play at number 3 seeded Hanover on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. For more information on that game and all other Franklin College athletics contests, be sure to visit our website, franklingrizzlies.com. From the Spurlock Center for the final time this year, I am Ryan Thomas. Thank you for tuning in to Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Thank you for tuning in to Franklin College men's and women's basketball all season long. We look forward to seeing you back in the Spurlock Center next season for more Grizz hoops.